talking about the month of June, and now moving into the heart of summer. The average high temperature today, right around 90 degrees. By the time we get to the end of the month, July 31st, it'll be 91. The average low temperature is going to go from 70 to 71. Now, we are going to begin to lose a fair amount of daylight in the month of July. The sunrise and the sunset are going to get significantly later. Sunrise is going to go from 5:36 a.m. That's what time the sun came up early this morning. It's going to come up at 5:55 a.m. by the time we get to the end of the month. Sunset, this is the one that really makes me sad. I don't care so much about the sunrise just because I'm asleep at that point, but the sunset, that one's really going to make me not happy. That one's going to hurt. Sunset is going to go from 8:03 p.m. to 7:49 p.m. Yeah, the post 8 o'clock sunsets are going to soon be a thing of the past. Now, in all actuality, we don't get a lot of post 8 o'clock sunsets on any given calendar year. It's only, I believe, 30 to 40 days out of the year where we actually get a sunset that is at or just after 8 o'clock. And the latest sunset we get is right around 8:04 p.m. I believe the sunset last night at 8:04. On average, we don't get a ton of rain in the month of July. We do get enough, though, right around 4.05 inches of rain. Rain, something we don't necessarily need across the Tennessee Valley. I'll talk about that in just a second. Like I said, there is a chance for a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of hours, but then once we get to sunset, that chance is going to drop off somewhat significantly. 80 degrees at 7, 78 by 8, 76 degrees by the time we get to 9 o'clock. Definitely going to be on the warmer end of the spectrum and definitely going to be on the more humid end of the spectrum. Now, we are talking about a little bit of rain across the Tennessee Valley. We're talking about a little bit of rain up across southern Middle Tennessee, Giles and Lincoln counties. This activity sitting to the north of Fayetteville, up in southern Tennessee, further north, heading up into Nashville. I think they're talking about a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity. And then we're also talking about a couple of thunderstorms hanging out over Jackson County as well, and that activity continues a little bit up into southern Middle Tennessee. And then we are talking about a couple of spotty showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder down into Coleman County. Like I said, there's a couple of more hours where we could get some showers and thunderstorms to blossom and develop across the Tennessee Valley, but the overall chance is going to remain somewhat low. We're also definitely not going to be talking about any strong or severe thunderstorms at this point in the evening, unlike our friends just to the south. Birmingham points to the south, central and south Alabama. Those folks are talking about more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity. This activity extends all the way down into the Florida Panhandle. We're also talking about more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity across central and south Mississippi. This activity packing a bit of a punch, not just across central and south Alabama, but across central and south Mississippi as well, where they are talking about a couple of different severe thunderstorm warnings. Now pay attention to the cold front. Cold front sitting just off to the northwest. It's going to move through the Tennessee Valley over the next couple of hours, and it could be the impetus for a little bit of rogue development over the next couple of hours. But like I said, once we get to sunset, the chance for anything developing is going to be somewhat low. Current temperatures and heat indices across the Tennessee Valley. Honestly, these numbers not all that bad. 84 feels like 91 in Scottsboro. 84 feels like 93 in Coleman. 82 feels like 89 in Russellville. 77 feels like 82 in Fayetteville, up across southern Middle Tennessee, where they've seen some additional cloud cover and maybe even a little bit of rain. But these numbers not all that bad, especially when you compare it to what we were talking about this time last week. Like I said, we don't need any rain across the Tennessee Valley. This is a really good summary of what we got in the month of June. Now, these numbers specifically related to the Huntsville International Airport, but I can also go ahead and tell you that our friends over in the Shoals in the month of June picked up right around 7.5 inches of rain across the Huntsville metro area. Again, these numbers specifically coming from Huntsville International Airport. A couple of things to point out. Very rarely did we get a stretch of dry days. It was never more than 3 days. We had the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. We were dry those 3 consecutive days. And then we were dry the 23rd, the 24th, and the 25th. So we were dry those 3 consecutive days. But we never had more than that. A couple of other items of note to point out here. It rained, at least a little bit, every single Saturday in the month of June. It also rained 3 of 5 Sundays in the month of June. So whatever we get in the month of July is probably going to be improvement across the Tennessee Valley. But of course, now that we are into the early days of July, obviously you're thinking about the July 4th holiday. Well, let's talk about what history has to say when it comes to the 4th of July. Now, historically, we typically don't get a lot of rain on the 4th of July, maybe a couple of 1/100ths of an inch here and there. There have only been a couple of outliers where we have seen significant rain on July 4th. Typically, it is also quite warm. Temperatures climb into the 90s, maybe some years we see temperatures climb into the upper 80s. This stat kind of shocked me. I looked that stat up yesterday, and maybe it's because I was here, but I do not at all remember July 4th of 2024 bringing a high temperature of 100 degrees. But in fact, it did. It was 100 degrees on the 4th of July in 2024. Let's talk about July 4th, 2025. 92 degrees on Friday. Plenty of sunshine. Yes, the 4th of July on a Friday this year, if you have not figured that out for yourself. We're going to start the day right around 68. We're going to start Saturday, July 5th, right around 71. We're going to finish the day right around 93. And once again, we're going to be talking about plenty of sunshine. No rain in the forecast, July 4th or July 5th. As a matter of fact, we're going to be talking about a relatively dry stretch of days across the Tennessee Valley. Let's go to the tropics just real quick. That cold front that's back off to the northwest, it's going to continue to drop to the south and then eventually stall out. And it could be the impetus. I used that word twice, impetus. I certainly hope I'm using it correctly. It'd be kind of unfortunate if I wasn't. But it could be the means to a little bit of organization. Phrasing it a little differently just in case I was using the word wrong. A little bit of tropical organization. We could see it just off the East Coast in the Atlantic Ocean. We could see it just off Florida's West Coast down in the Gulf. But there is a 30% chance of tropical development over the next 7 days. Now that is a low chance by all sorts of counting. A 30% chance of development over a week is incredibly low. As we head into the overnight, we're talking about another chance for some patchy dense fog that might develop across the Tennessee Valley. I don't think this is going to be a widespread concern. Otherwise, temperatures drop into the mid-upper 60s. I've got a low temperature right around 68 degrees. Maybe you want to go golfing on Wednesday. Maybe you have an abbreviated work week. Maybe you're just taking the whole week off and you want to go golfing tomorrow. If anybody wants to teach me to golf, I'm here and available. It's going to be warm, mostly sunny. We're not talking about any rain on Wednesday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s most of the time. It's probably going to feel like it's somewhere in the mid and upper 90s. Would not be the least bit surprised if somebody sees an air temperature right around 91 or 92 degrees. As we head into your Thursday, once again, temperatures climbing into the upper 80s and lower 90s. Have a good look at the next 7 days.